Hello and welcome back to the Cardboard Herald Cardboard Academy, Season 2 of our returning recurring show where we go through some quick strategy tips to help you do just a little bit better in your favorite games. This episode, more than others, is going to have a lot of hotly contended discussion because there is so much strategic depth to our topic today, which is ARCS, Conflict and Collapse in the Reach, a nuanced strategy game where there is no one-size-fits-all strategy to prescribe to someone, but nonetheless, I've distilled my experiences with the base game, not the campaign game, though this could be a little applicable to the campaign, but mainly focused on the base game, what I think are just general guides that I would give to someone after they played the game one or two times to help do a little bit better. So, with all that said, first thing is to not be afraid about pitching a card to seize the initiative. At first, you are going to feel like losing a card, losing potentially an entire turn in one of the few precious rounds that you have is too much of a sacrifice for you to get the initiative. But if you are finding that you need to set the momentum of the game, or people aren't playing the actions that you are needing them to play, so that way you can outperform them, play the higher game, take the trick and take the initiative, then seizing initiative is a very valuable thing, especially because that lets you get the most out of the rest of your hand and to declare a lucrative ambition that is going to work for your board state. The second tip is that ARCS, when played as intended, is a mean, nasty game. And if players are going full throttle on this thing, you are going to be a sweet, defenseless, belly up, cute little piglet for the pickings if you leave yourself in a vulnerable position. And one of the most proactive things that you can do is to leave a ship or two in a gate that is going to stop players from just cruising on into your sector with a jump drive surprise attack, and they have to stop where your ships already are. This is only one among a few things you can do to discourage sudden surprise raids against you, but is one of the most basic, most effective that you can apply. Number 3 is that unlike most games, it is deceptively easy to choke an entire market of a resource in this game. It is a completely viable strategy to just corner the entire resource market of the relics or even the little pink and blue psionic doodads and make it so you have the majority of them in your supply and declare the ambitions that are going to give you buco points for having those. Just bear in mind that if you are spending all your time focusing on those, you're both going to make yourself a tempting target and you're going to leave yourself out of the capacity to participate in other things. One of the things that makes this such a great and nuanced game is that everything that is good in ARCS comes at a cost, or at least an opportunity cost associated with it. Number 4 kind of goes along with that, in that ARCS doesn't really reward half measures. If you're going to raid, you go in for a raid and you go swinging. If you're going to go in to destroy as many opponents as possible, then use them red dice. Yes, there are more nuanced levels of combining dice as you go into combat that you can apply, but in general, this is a game where if you're going to do something, lean in and do that particular thing very well. And that extends beyond combat itself. Don't take half measures in ARCS. It is always going to lead to someone else outperforming you dramatically. And tip number 5 seems somewhat contrary to that, but ARCS is a game ultimately about adapting to the current board state. And so even though I'm saying that you need to be deliberate in what you do in ARCS, you also need to really take advantage of where the board is right now. What opportunities do you have? What cards can be played? What can you make use of given what your hand is? There is no planning ahead what rounds 2, 3, and 4 are during round 1 because you have no idea what cards you're going to draw into or what your opponents are going to do that you can either follow or pivot from. This is a game at looking at what is the thing that given my current state of my hand, what can I get going, and think about only a turn or two ahead of that and build that specific momentum without focusing too much on an end goal in mind. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to adapt. That is how you succeed in ARCS. And those are our 5 tips, but they are far from the only tips that someone might have for ARCS. So please, if you're an experienced ARCer, put some comments in the comment section below with what you think are general tips that people could apply to improve their own game. And if you disagree with any of my tips, let me know there too. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being such a great community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.